Here's your wrestling news for March 18th, 2023, and we're kicking off today with SmackDown, and at long last, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are on the same page. The pair's reunion has been teased since before Survivor Series War Games last November, and with rumors of a tag team title match at WrestleMania, it was expected that they'd be reuniting. That reunion happened on last night's SmackDown, with Cody Rhodes acting as mediator, but WWE was in no hurry to put the Canadians back together. After rejecting Zayn's offer to team up, it was only in the main event, which saw Zayn face Jey Uso, that fans got the moment they were waiting for. When Sami was getting beaten down, Owens made the save, and the embrace between the real-life best friends earned a huge pop, all while the American Nightmare watched and smiled backstage. With Owens and Zayn on the same page, expect the tag title match to be made official for WrestleMania soon enough, in arguably the second biggest storyline WWE has going today. With 2 episodes each of Raw and SmackDown before WrestleMania, there's still time for some more twists and turns in this angle, as Rhodes, Zayn, and Owens look to take everything from the bloodline. When Max Dupree reverted back to his LA Knight name, fans were expecting big things for him, but his career has somewhat stalled as of late. Knight has been on a losing streak lately, which continued on SmackDown with a defeat at the hands of Xavier Woods, and that wasn't the only time Knight would come up short. Backstage, Knight was seen walking, and interestingly, a Bray Wyatt symbol could be spotted on a production crate, implying that their feud may not be over just yet. In his backstage segment, Knight told Rey Mysterio that he would happily face his son at WrestleMania, only to be struck in the face by the future Hall of Famer. So why is LA Knight being handled so poorly? Well, the rumor is that this is part of a bigger picture, as he has been pitched to face Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. It is entirely possible that this week's SmackDown was a huge step in burying Knight, who will hijack WrestleMania and demand a Mania moment, which will bring out the Texas Rattlesnake. The only issue is that if Knight's losses are to set up a match with Austin, then that's a match he will certainly lose, in another setback for someone the WWE Universe once had high hopes for on the main roster. Earlier this month, it was revealed that Vince McMahon is attempting to legalize betting in what would be a huge moneymaker if plans are approved. Unfortunately for the chairman, initial attempts to win over state gaming commissions have been unsuccessful, and things have gone from bad to worse. When CNBC asked around, several prominent names in gambling rejected the idea of allowing high-stakes bets on WWE, with BetMGM CEO Adam Greenblatt saying, "No f***ing way." While they used gentler language, a representative from FanDuel said they'd also be against allowing WWE bets, and there's been no names so far who have publicly expressed support for the idea. Ironically, McMahon has figuratively screwed himself, as CNBC pointed out that the Montreal Screwjob, in which McMahon kept the real finish a secret to everyone even after the match begun, proved that the results of a match could never be locked in months in advance. With both the superstars and the gaming commissions against the idea, it appears that McMahon's plans to legalize betting on WWE is dead in the water, much to the relief of the talent themselves. WrestleMania news now, as earlier this month, a trailer for the event, which parodied Stranger Things, seemingly confirmed that Night 1's main event would be between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. It was reported this week that political reasons caused WWE to go for this match, rather than put Sami Zayn in the main event, but now things aren't so clear. Sean Ross Sapp reports that if WWE has decided the Night 1 main event, then it's being kept quiet within WWE, with several people who would typically be in the know not being told these plans. Talent associated with the Night 1 main event have also not been told that they will be closing out the show, leading to speculation as to whether the Flair-Ripley match will indeed be the main event. Referring to the reports of political reasons, Sapp added that WWE felt they should have a women's match main event this year, as last year's show saw 2 all-male main events. If WWE does end up going with a female main event this year, then it will almost certainly be Ripley versus Flair, as it is reported that WWE has never considered Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair versus Asuka to close the Saturday show. At one point, the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was slated to be the main event, and Sapp noted that several in WWE are still pushing for this to be the case. While countless wrestlers will spend their careers dreaming of headlining WrestleMania, only a very select few ever will. And which match do you think should close Night 1 on April 1st? Speaking of WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year is just 2 weeks away, and the card has been slowly coming together. Traditionally, WWE has used battle royals to give as many superstars a chance to get a Mania payday, but the company has a different strategy this year. WrestleVotes reports that WWE will have 2 fatal 4-way tag team matches, one for the men and the other for the women, and these were later confirmed on SmackDown. We only know one team for the women's match, that being Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, but the men's match will see the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders versus Alpha Academy versus the team of Braun Strowman and Ricochet. If not for this match, these 4 teams would probably be watching WrestleMania from the sidelines, and which team are you going to be rooting for in 2 weeks' time? We've got some unfortunate news from Eddie Kingston, as AEW's Mad King is off the ScrapperMania card with COVID. Kingston was brought in for the show to replace Jon Moxley, who AEW had pulled so he could work the first AEW House Rules event, and we're wishing Kingston a speedy recovery. Earlier this week, it was reported that this year's WrestleMania will be a more frugal affair, with WWE implementing many cost-cutting measures to make the show more profitable. Few members of staff will be brought in for the show, and international announcers will have to provide commentary from home, as WWE wants the company to look as profitable as possible ahead of a potential sale. It turns out, though, that this is not an entirely new concept, as Fightful reports that not sending the international announcers has been common practice for the last few years. WWE is set to begin taking first-round bids on the promotion after WrestleMania 39, and with multiple notable names still interested, the sports entertainment juggernaut could be a very different place in just a few months' time. For years, Davey Richards has made a name for himself in multiple promotions, including Impact Wrestling, Major League Wrestling, and Ring of Honor, just to name a few. Richards made his wrestling debut in June of 2004 for the Washington-based Pro Wrestling War, but his career ended this week under controversial circumstances. Earlier this week, several promotions cut ties with the former ROH World Champion due to allegations of domestic violence, and these allegations resulted in Richards deactivating his social media. In a statement issued to PW Insider, Richards announced his retirement from wrestling and vehemently denied the allegations against him. Richards noted that there are no domestic violence charges against his name in the state of Missouri, and explaining a photo of his wife with black eyes, said that occurred during martial arts training, and said that this sort of injury is common with their students during training. Richards' training school, Team Ambition, has cut ties with him, as have several wrestling promotions, and whatever he does next, it won't be in the squared circle. Now, Cameron Grimes finished his time with NXT months ago, but is yet to receive his official main roster call-up. While Grimes did appear on Raw once in late 2022, he's yet to fully arrive, but the former NXT North American champion will be looking his best when he does show up. Taking to Instagram, Grimes showed off his toned physique and new look, and he's certainly in much better condition than he was during his time on the Gold brand. As we've seen with Gunther, an improved physique is very much appreciated by WWE's higher-ups, who will bear in mind his commitment to improving when it's time for him to make his official main roster debut. As for when that will be, only time will tell, but with the post-WrestleMania Raw often being used as an opportunity to call up talent, the new and improved Grimes could be on TV within a matter of weeks. And we're ending today with SmackDown, as the show featured 2 dark matches, with Braun Strowman and Ricochet facing Hit Row before the show began. In the post-SmackDown dark match, Cody Rhodes challenged US champion Austin Theory, and while Rhodes' DQ win means the title didn't change hands, fans at the arena certainly got their money's worth.